Welcome to Rustic Studio. Welcome to Rustic Studio. Have you ever stood before a landscape and felt it move? Not just the sway of trees in the wind, but a deeper, more intentional flow, a current of color and life that seems to embrace the very ground it grows on. This is the magic of designing with curves, of creating a garden that feels less like a static picture and more like a living, breathing entity. It's a design philosophy that trades rigid lines for graceful arcs, creating a front yard that is not only visually stunning but also feels deeply harmonious and welcoming. The most captivating element in these gardens is undoubtedly the masterful use of curves. Look at how the garden beds sweep and swirl across the landscape. In the first image, a magnificent serpentine bed, edged with natural stone, creates a mesmerizing, ribbon-like path of color that draws you from the porch and into the heart of the garden. This is a powerful design technique. Unlike straight lines, which can feel abrupt and formal, curves mimic the natural world. The meandering of a stream, the slope of a hill, the edge of a forest clearing. They create a sense of gentle, organic movement that is inherently calming to the human eye. This approach transforms the lawn from mere empty space into a crucial design element. The green grass becomes the riverbanks to the floral stream, its shape defined and enhanced by the vibrant beds it flows around. This creates a dynamic interplay between the manicured lawn and the wild abundance of the flowers, a beautiful dance of order and chaos that is the hallmark of sophisticated landscape design. Let's explore the concept of island beds versus foundation plantings. Foundation plantings are the beds that sit directly against the house, as seen hugging the stone and wood exteriors. Their purpose is twofold: to soften the hard architectural lines of the home, and to anchor the structure to the landscape, making it feel as though it has risen organically from the earth. Notice how plants with softer textures, like hydrangeas or lavender, are used here to blur the transition from stone wall to soil. Then we have the island beds, the free-form shapes floating within the lawn. These are the showstoppers. They act as focal points, destinations for the eye. The circular bed in the final image is a perfect example, creating a vibrant bullseye of color in the center of the yard. These island beds allow you to play with height and dimension in a way foundation plantings cannot. You can plant taller species like sunflowers in the center and graduate the height down to the edges, creating a mounded, three-dimensional effect that can be appreciated from all sides. They break up large expanses of lawn, adding interest and complexity, and creating distinct rooms within the larger garden space. palettes in these gardens are nothing short of jubilant. They are a fearless explosion of warm reds, sunny yellows, fiery oranges, deep purples, and vibrant pinks. The secret to making this riot of color feel cohesive rather than chaotic is mass planting. Instead of one or two red flowers here and there, we see bold drifts of the same color. A large swath of purple salvia flows into a sunny patch of yellow marigolds, which then gives way to a cluster of pink echinacea. Planting in groups of 3, 5, or more of the same plant creates a much stronger visual impact than scattering individual plants. This technique allows each color to have its moment, to read as a distinct and intentional brushstroke in the larger painting. Notice also the repetition of key colors. A splash of yellow from the sunflowers near the house is echoed in the coreopsis in an island bed further out. This repetition creates a visual rhythm, connecting different parts of the garden and leading your eye seamlessly through the entire landscape, making the composition feel whole and harmonious. The pathways here are not just functional elements, they are integral parts of the artistic composition. In the second image, a beautiful flagstone path meanders gracefully between two lushly planted beds. The irregular stones, set directly into the lawn, create an informal, storybook feel. It slows you down, inviting you to enjoy the journey and admire the flowers up close. This is a path that feels like a discovery. Contrast this with the more defined gravel and paver paths in other images. These paths serve as clean, crisp borders for the curved beds, their pale neutral tones providing a visual resting place for the eye amidst the explosion of color. The texture of the gravel underfoot adds another sensory layer to the garden experience. The true genius of these designs lies in the seamless harmony between the architecture and the landscape. The homes themselves are crafted from natural rustic materials: warm wood siding, rugged fieldstone, and sturdy timber posts. These materials have an inherent connection to the outdoors. The garden design doesn't fight this, it celebrates it. The gray tones of the stone foundation are picked up by the silvery foliage of a lamb's ear plant or the cool purple of a salvia spire. The warm browns of the wood siding are complemented by the fiery oranges and deep reds of zinnias and marigolds. The garden becomes an extension of the home's material palette. The porch, with its comfortable rocking chairs and simple swings, acts as the perfect transition point, a semi-outdoor space where the comfort of the home meets the beauty of the garden. Let's talk about the unsung heroes of these designs: edging and mulch. While the flowers provide the spectacle, it's the crisp, clean edges that give these free-flowing beds their definition and sense of purpose. In some images, we see a subtle border of river rocks or small boulders, which adds a lovely rustic texture and clearly delineates the line between the bed and the lawn. In others, a simple, sharp spade cut edge is all that's needed. This defined edge is crucial, It's the frame for the artwork. It keeps the lawn from encroaching on the flowers and gives the entire design a polished, well-maintained look, even with its wild, cottage-style planting. Then there's the mulch. A thick layer of dark brown mulch serves multiple purposes. Practically, it suppresses weeds, retains moisture, and improves the soil. Aesthetically, it creates a rich, dark canvas that makes the colors of the flowers and foliage pop dramatically. It provides visual continuity, unifying the different planting areas and helping the overall design feel clean and cohesive. Don't underestimate the power of these two simple elements to elevate your garden from amateur to professional. A key principle at play here is the concept of the borrowed landscape. Notice the backgrounds: rolling green hills, mature oak trees, and distant mountains. The gardens are designed not to compete with these views, but to embrace them. The low, rustic wooden fences seen in several images are perfect examples of this. They provide a sense of gentle enclosure and definition for the immediate property, without obstructing the magnificent vista beyond. The fence line acts as a mid-ground element, connecting the cultivated garden in the foreground to the wilder landscape in the background. The plant choices also reflect this. Tall sunflowers and ornamental grasses have a natural, meadow-like quality that resonates with the surrounding fields. The overall effect is one of expansive openness. The garden doesn't feel like a small, enclosed space. It feels like the most beautiful and concentrated part of a much larger, continuous landscape. When designing your space, always consider what lies beyond your property lines. Frame the good views, and use your garden to create a beautiful transition to the world outside. Even within these grand designs, there is an intimate attention to detail regarding plant height and texture. The beds are not flat planes of color. They are dynamic, three-dimensional sculptures. In the center of the islands or at the back of the foundation beds, you find the thrillers. Tall, dramatic plants like sunflowers or lofty ornamental grasses that provide a strong vertical element. The middle ground is filled with the fillers, mounded, bushy plants like echinacea, zinnias, and salvia that create the main body of color and mass. Finally, the edges are softened with spillers, or lower-growing border plants like marigolds or alyssum, which create a neat but soft edge and transition gracefully to the lawn or pathway. This layering of heights is essential for creating a lush, full look. Furthermore, texture is just as important as color. The fine, airy texture of ornamental grass contrasts beautifully with the bold, daisy-like heads of the coneflowers. The spiky spires of salvia stand out against the soft, cloud-like blooms of hydrangeas. This rich textural palette ensures the garden remains visually interesting even from a distance, and provides a delightful sensory experience up close. So what can we take away from these breathtaking visions? We learned that the foundation of a truly spectacular rustic garden is flow. It is the embrace of the curve, the creation of graceful lines that guide the eye and make a landscape sing. It's about using bold, joyful color in confident masses, and framing that art with clean edges and rich mulch. It's about building a partnership between your home and your garden, letting the materials of one inform the other.